So, guys, today we'll talk about two of the financial statements. We're going to talk about the income statement and we're going to talk about the balance sheets. These are statements that are used by businesses, whether it's medium, large, small business, they use them. But these are statements that we as average people can also use and we should use. They're also going to highlight some of the differences between different classes of people in how they handle their money. So first, let's look at the income statement. The income statement is basically a statement of income, what comes in and what goes out. Income. For most people, it comes in the form of a salary from your job, your 9 to 5, or your 10 to 10, or whatever it is, comes in through your salary. And it's usually only one source. Your expenses are all of the expenses of life that you already know. Living. So here is where your rent or your mortgage comes in. Your insurance. Your transportation. So your car payments, your gas, your train, your bus ticket, your food, your entertainment if you're going out, your tuition for your children, your utilities, your cable, your Netflix. These are all your expenses. Now your balance sheet here is this. A is for your assets and L is for your liabilities. Assets, if you look in the Webster Dictionary, it may say something like something of value that can be sold for value. But I like the definition that Rich Dad Poor Dad gives. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket on a month-to-month basis. I like that definition because it really gears your mind to what am I buying. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Okay? So now when you think of certain things, you think of a car. On a month-to-month basis, does a car put money in your pocket? No, a car is a liability. Unless you're using it for business and can deduct the expenses and it's bringing income in, it is a liability. Your house, your own personal residence where you live on a month-to-month basis, is a liability. I mean, I know the system has us thinking it's an asset, but on a month-to-month basis, your regular house, between the mortgage and the maintenance and the taxes and the insurance, it takes money out of your pocket. So this is our income statement. And this is our balance sheet. Now, between your income and your expenses, the difference is going to be your cash flow, right? Between your income and your expenses, the difference is going to be your cash flow. Your asset and liability, the difference is going to be your net worth. Now, let's look at how the cash flows between different types of people and what their focus is. I think this is going to be interesting to highlight to some of us. Now, income statement. The poor person. A poor person's income is going to be coming from their job, which provides a salary. You'll have one source of income. The money comes in, and then it goes straight out in expenses that we talked about on the previous page. Rent, transportation, food, utilities, keeping the lights on, cable, that is it. And usually the cash flow is going to be pretty much close to zero. Right? That is living check to check. There is nothing left over. Look at the poor person's balance sheet. They have no assets. And I mean, yeah, they may have a credit card bill or something, but it's really not going to be little to any liability, right? They may have a little credit card bill or something, but it's going to be little to no liabilities. Their focus of the poor person is here. They focus on expenses. You'll hear poor people say, I just want to pay the bills. I just want to keep the light on. They think the purpose of money is to pay bills. The poor person think the purpose of money is to pay bills. They will do this for 1 month. They'll do this for a year. They'll do this for a decade. Work, 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 get their money, pay bills, and accumulate nothing. Pay bills. So after 40 years, they have nothing. This is the poor person's cash flow. It just flows right here into expenses, pay bills. Now let's look at the middle class. Now this is the middle class, right? So these are your people who went to school, they got a good job, they got a degree, and they're making good money, 6 figures. Okay, they have their income, and you have their expenses. Their income of the middle class person is also coming in through their job, their salary. It is a better job. It is a job that has a larger income. So they're a doctor, an attorney, an accountant, engineer, right? They have a degree, they're a dentist. So the income is larger. And they have the same expenses, right? The same expenses as the other ones, the rent, the car payments, they have the insurance, the school tuition, all that stuff. But over here, what they do is they pile up over here on liability because they have a better job, they live in a better neighborhood, so they're going to have a bigger house. And yes, we have the house of the liability, bigger house, which requires more furniture. They may have multiple cars, right? You go into any suburban areas, you'll see 3-car garages, 2-car garages, 4-car garages. Liability, 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 liability. Their kids are going to go to private school, right? Their kids are going to go to expensive liberal arts colleges. So they're going to have student debt. They're going to have a boat. They're going to have a timeshare, right? Summer home. They're going to go to Hawaii. All of these things is the focus of the middle class. The middle class, they focus on buying liabilities. They have a good job, they make a lot of money, and it's in excess of their expenses, but their cash flow they use to buy liabilities because they have good credit and they pay it off over time. Their focus of the middle class person is on liabilities. Look at the watch. Look at the phone. Look at the pictures of us in Hawaii. They focus on liabilities. Now, let's look here at the rich person. Again, we have our income statement and we have our expenses. And then over here, we have our assets and we have our liabilities. The rich people, they have their income statements. They may have a job. They may have a job, right? That provides a salary. But this is not their only source of income because what the rich does with their cash flow, right? The rich also have expenses, the same expenses as everybody else. They also have rent or mortgage, most likely probably a mortgage. They also have utilities and they have insurance. They have all of that. But they take their cash flow and they buy assets. So they'll buy stocks that pay a dividend. That dividend provides income. They will take the cash flow and they'll buy a rental property or several rental properties. That rental property provides rental income. They will invest in ETFs, which also provides dividends. They will invest in bonds, which also provides interest income. And even if they have a savings account or a high interest savings account, that'll give interest income. They may have also intellectual property or trademark property, and that will provide a royalty income. So what you see here is the rich, their focus is on assets that provide additional income. So if the rich person loses their job, they won't be adversely affected because they have other income coming in. The rich person also have liabilities. They'll also have the house, the boat, but those will be paid for by the income from here. So the focus of the poor person is just to pay their bills. I just want to pay the bills. That's it. And they do not buy any assets. The focus of the middle class person is just to impress people by buying liabilities. Look at my watch. Look at my phone. Look at my boat. Look at the vacation that we did. The focus of the rich person, they take their cash flow and they buy assets. They buy assets, income producing assets that fund their lifestyle. And that should be our endeavor. To take our cash flow, to buy income producing assets to support our lifestyle. That way we can get our time back. This is the MD Investor with another video to increase our financial IQ so we can teach our children and break the cycle of generational poverty. MD Investor out. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube.